Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again with yet another Cataclysm card review, and we had a bunch of neutral cards revealed. Some epics, a new giant, mana disruption, dragons, some pretty cool cards. Will any of them see play? Well, most neutrals typically don't slot in a ton, but there's the odd winner in the bunch every once in a while. So we'll review these cards, and of course, if you want to win them, we're giving away 2 regular pre-orders, and now we get another 1,000 subs. 2 mega bundles out of my pocket to enter the giveaway. Like and comment in the video, link down description below, the one with that thumbnail over there. And again, if we manage to hit another 1,000 subs before that, or when that rewards track refresh goes live, I will add another mega bundle. There's no limit on that, so hit that sub button, make me go baroque. So we have a very dragon-based expansion, so of course, we're gonna get some more dragons, including the Darkscale Broodmother, a 3 mana 4/3 dragon, which reads a battle cry. If you're holding a dragon, refresh 2 mana crystals, effectively making this a 1 mana card, right? A 1 mana card if you're holding other dragons, because you'll get 2 mana back. And thankfully, like Zarimi or whatever is rotating for pre, so you could go like Darkscale Broodmother for like basically 2 mana and then get Zarimi out active, right? That would have been a nice little cheap activator for that deck, but that won't be an issue, at least in standard. And Wild, probably not either, because it's probably too slow. But yeah, it's stats. It's a 1 mana 4/3, again, effectively, but not to like, I guess, turn 2 with the coin or turn 3. And not many dragon decks out there right now outside of Dragon Warrior. Would they play this? Maybe, just for like, you know, cheap stats, I guess, because it really isn't anything more than that. And being a 4/3, being more aggressively statted, it's a bit easier to remove for these decks. But yeah, maybe this sees like niche plays a cheap dragon for a dragon deck. As long as you're holding one, you're good to go. And we do know Dragon Warrior is a pretty effective deck right now. I'm going between like a 2 and a 3 on this. I'll give it a 3 for the fact that, yeah, it's relatively cheap and dragons can be quite good. And I expect dragon decks to continue to see play unless they get like gutted in that, you know, we're expecting a balance patch. Maybe they'll get nerfed ahead of time, but regardless, I'll give it a 3, might be a 2. It's really between that, very much so for like the Dragon Warrior deck right now, but you never know. And in Wild, you'll never guess. It's a 1. Dragon decks aren't really a thing there. You do have like Reno Druid, which plays some dragons, but I don't think they would play Broodmother, and that's not the best deck in the world. Anyways, we have a really cool card here, the Stickybomb Saboteur. I believe this was revealed by Dark Lady Cosplay, so shout out to her. This is a 4 mana 4/4 epic minion. Battle cry, give your opponent a 2-cost sabotage. Cards next to it cost 1 more. So it's a 2 mana spell. I don't believe it has like a spell school, it just has cool art, and I appreciate the cool art. So it'll be added to your opponent's hand, and basically whenever, I guess, they'll draw their next card, it'll make that card cost more, the one beside it. If they have like, if this gets to like one side of your hand and there's no card next to it, it's just gonna cost 1 more mana for whatever it is. But yeah, if you're playing cards surrounding it, that mana cheat could get a bit more and more annoying, right? Like it's gonna keep amplifying. So you might want to have to spend that 2 mana just to get that out of there, because you might end up having to spend a lot more than that in the long run. Or maybe it's just in a part of your hand you don't care. There's like 2 dead cards, or it ends up being off to the side, you don't care. And at the end of the day, your opponent is just playing a 4 mana 4/4. Thankfully, Shadow Step rotates, right? This could have been pretty annoying with Shadow Step. It's probably not something you would do. They have that like whole 3 mana 3/3 that makes cards unplayable. That didn't see play. But regardless, could be an annoying disruption option. Could be, I think this is more like a created by card. You get a random 4-drop and you play it, or get summoned maybe. I don't know if this goes into an actual deck, but it could be, yeah, just super annoying. You play a couple of these, they can't really play their cards that well. They keep having to spend an extra mana. It's like having the Frost Plague constantly active in that hand. So I'll give it a 2. It wouldn't shock me if some really annoying, toxic, like slow, grindy deck, like a hostage or just disruption deck, could see the scene played standard. I'll give it a 2 in standard. In Wild, I almost want to give it a 3, because disruption is like even more valuable in Wild, but I don't think it's enough disruption to ever make it worth it. And turn 4, a lot of these combo decks are already doing their thing, right? You're already facing a giant egg, or Yesel is nuking you, so I don't know. It's probably 2 in wild, but I do appreciate the design. I think it's cool, and I could be wrong. This is one that might be a bit more of a sleeper one that makes up being a meta card, but I'm gonna go with 2, not irredeemable, but doesn't quite make the meta cut. We have a new egg, the Twilight Egg. It's a 1 mana 0/2 death rattle. You summon a 2/2 Whelp. Gains +1/+1 at the start of your turn. So my understanding of this card, you play it, say on turn 1, it survives turn 2, it then improves the death rattle. You'll then summon a 3/3 Whelp, and if it survives to the start of your next turn, then it'll be a 4/4 Whelp. Basically, the death rattle on this card grows every time you start your next turn. It's not end of turn though, so you won't get a big token or anything out of it till a bit later. So it's a relatively cheap deck or egg. Sorry, we've seen one that was like an undead that was just you got a 3/3 without having to wait at all. That actually saw a good chunk of play when it was in standard way back in the day, and this is kind of like that, but a bit worse, sometimes better. Maybe there's a dragon synergy with the Whelp, right? You know, you're playing wild and you get your Nixie out there and your Nixie is immune because of that Whelp. That's definitely a relevant situation, but cheap egg, decent death rattle, you never know. I'll give it a 2 in standard, a 1 in wild, because again, obviously too slow, and I think there's better versions out there. But in standard, maybe there'll be a deck for it. I don't really see it yet, and I don't think you're building too hard around it. But yeah, maybe at some point we get another Death Rattle egg deck, and you might want to throw that in there. We have the Bronze Keeper, an 8 mana, 3/7 dragon. At the end of your turn, summon a 6/6 elemental dragon with Divine Shield. So you get an 8 mana, 9/13 effectively, and if it doesn't die, you can keep getting more dragons. Maybe you somehow have Dios on the board, and then you get multiple of those dragons. Incredibly slow card, doesn't really immediately impact the board in any way. No taunt, no rush. It's fine in arena, maybe, probably a bit too slow even there, unless you have some crazy like end of turn strategies, which we don't really have outside of Dios. This is a 1-star card in standard, a 1-star card in wild. I don't think you're picking this as an Elise activator. I just think it's there to exist, to be like evolved into, created by, not necessarily a card you're going to want to put into your deck. Next, this is a card that I think is going to see play, the Carrier Whelp, a 1 mana 1/2 dragon. Battle Cry, you get a random dragon that costs 3 or less. When I first saw this, I thought it says you get a random dragon that costs 3 less, and I was like, what are they doing? But instead, yeah, you get a cheap dragon, and then you get a dragon that you're gonna be able to play either next turn or the turn after if it's 3 mana, or you have the coin, you can coin it out. So you're getting a cheap dragon, you're getting another dragon that can keep your dragon synergies going, and you're like, you should be able to play it on curve, and it could be pretty good, right? Like it could be, dragons that cost 3 or less are fine on average. They're not bad. Like they're really not, and that's just a really solid card for any dragon deck. Like why not? It's not probably on the level of Gift Wrap Whelp, which is rotating, but this is basically a card that just takes that spot. A really good 1 mana dragon, gives you some value, could give you some other, some other synergies, maybe potential high rolls. You never know. We don't know all the cards yet. There could be some pretty good dragons for cheap coming later. For me, this is like a 3 or a 4-star. I'll give it a 4 for dragon decks. Obviously, just dragon decks. But maybe even other decks that just want to curve out with tokens, right? Like it just helps you fill your curve. You're gonna have, if you play this on 1, you're gonna have plays for the next turn or 2. So it's just solid. I'm giving it a 4 to 5 in standard, and in wild, I'll give it a 2. Maybe it has a chance in some. I don't like what deck in wild would play this. Like there's just not realistic, normal like aggro strategies for a card like this. So I'll give it a 2 in wild, but yeah, in standard, this is a really, really good cheap dragon that I think we will see plenty of after rotation. We have the Shadowed Informant, a 2 mana 2/2 dragon. You could get this from that card. Battle Cry, you discover a spell from your class, swaps class each turn. So I guess while this is in your hand, it'll change to getting a spell from a different class, which is really cool. It's a really cool card. It's some value. The stats aren't premium or anything like that. So it's got that going against it. But overall, I don't know. Does like a Burgle Rogue want this? Does just a dragon deck? Like, it's just a 2/2. That is a big deal. Like, just not having premium stats matters, but being a dragon, being able to get some value, maybe high roll a spell, probably doesn't make the cut. I think you're going to see it no matter what, though. Plenty off Carrier Whelp, and then, you know, you get random into random and maybe more random, like I like to say, and that'll be pretty solid. I just don't think this takes a deck spot necessarily, so we'll give it a 2 out of 5, but this can also be a card for, like, Mark to find a specific spell to do a crazy combo that might have been a lot harder to find. Like, you get access to every class of spells, basically, if you roll the right, you know, class on this, so that's pretty cool. In Wild, a 1, it's way too slow, value doesn't matter there, and you know, the whole thing, except for Mark and like Alticon, they'll make the usage out of that. We have a brand new giant, the Gronn Giant, a 9 mana 8/8 minion. With this minion's cost is reduced by the cost of the last card you played. So if you play a card that costs 9 or 10 mana, so like Ysera, right, gain that 3 mana, you could cheat out a giant with it and then play something else for 3 mana. Or let's say I played an 8 mana card last turn. The next turn, when I have 9 mana, I could play a 1 mana giant with whatever, right? Just make sure to play the giant first, because it'll get reset. So this is actually not too hard to cheat out in the late game, right? In the late game, or even like you played a 5 mana card, then you can play this for 4 mana at some point, right? It can really help just kind of, you know, utilize your excess mana depending on how things go. And yeah, if you're playing a late game, more of a scam style deck where you split play, you can't play Zilliax anymore, right? So that's good. But I just think of like Ysera and other cards, Fire Rack, more late game cards just to get it out for 0 could be good, or just another expensive card played cheap for later could be really good. It's like that Stitch Giant roll, really, right? And this is neutral, and Giants historically, most of them see play, and this one really not that hard to satisfy the condition. It just has to go again into a deck that's going more for the late game, plays a bit more expensive cards, which we see plenty of that, especially Colossals, right? Or play this with Deathwing, right? Your 10 mana Deathwing, it's out for free. I'll give this a 4 out of 5. I think this is a giant that will slot into multiple decks. You never know where. It's just a free 8/8 we know in Hearthstone can be really strong, even if it's a little bit later, like turn 7, 8, 9. We've seen that with Deathlight, even though a lot of times they want to get it on like turn 6 with Maladar. I think this could see play. So yeah, 4 out of 5 in standard, 2 in wild, where you don't really spend that much mana on any specific card of that format, almost always. So I don't think you're going to be playing it a heck of a lot there. We also have the Dracodon Mongrel, a 7 mana 8/6 dragon, Death Rattle, summon 2 random 4 cost minions. So I don't know, some weird dragon Death Rattle deck, you could play this against some 4-drops. That's pretty bad. Maybe you pick it in arena, and even in arena these days, that's not great. This is a created by card, right? Evolve into it's really annoying. Random dragon created by, but I would be shocked if this sees constructed play unless there's some crazy Death Rattle synergies I'm not aware of. And even then, you're just getting 4-drops, which if you've seen with a lot of these cards that create 4-drops, they're not that great. They're just okay. So yeah, that's a 1 in standard, a 1 in wild. And we also have the Scaled Lancer, a 4 mana 6/6 dragon. Speaking of bad random 4-drops potentially, all enemy minions have taunt. This isn't a battle cry. This is a constant effect. So as long as you have this on the board, any minion your opponent plays has taunt. So I guess maybe crazy combos with the Black Knight and destroying a minion you can't destroy otherwise. But yeah, you're getting a bit of extra stats. But I mean, we got Worgen Greaser and Wild as a 4 mana 6/5. Unplayable. Even in Twist, where it was legal, when Twist existed, it still wasn't good enough. Just getting a 4 mana 6/6 with a downside like this, on average, it's just not worth it. It gets a 1 out of 5 in standard, a 1 out of 5 in wild, and yeah, summoning random 4-drops might actually cost you the game now in some ways. And then lastly, we have the Earthen Drake, a 4 or 5 mana 4/4 elemental and dragon. At the end of your turn, deal 4 damage to the enemy hero. So pretty bad stats. The only thing this card does is go face, right? And with Dios, that can go twice. So that's 8, but that's a 12 mana combo. So again, unless we see some like end of turn stuff going on, which we actually have seen a good amount of end of turn cards, I don't see anything for this card. I don't know what you're doing with it. It's a bit of damage. Again, another like evolution, like evolved into created by card that could be all right. Maybe a least copy location or druid copy location. That could be something, but I'm gonna give this a 1 out of 5 in standard and a 1 out of 5 in wild. So I believe that's it for today. Again, like every day now for a while, there's a bunch of cards that are going to be revealed. I believe tomorrow is another creator panel reveal. So make sure to get the drop from that. And we'll have a review for that in all the cards for this upcoming expansion. So stay tuned. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.